Welcome to the Steve Stine Guitar Podcast, where we bring you the latest insights, tips, and techniques to help you master the art of guitar playing. I'm your host, Steve Stine, and I'm committed to sharing my passion for the guitar while inspiring you and guiding you through your musical journey. Now remember that you can enjoy this podcast from anywhere and anytime, whether you're cruising down the highway, preparing dinner in the kitchen, or even working out at the gym. By incorporating the podcast into your daily routine, you'll be able to stay inspired and motivated in your guitar journey, no matter where life takes you. Now, let's dive into today's podcast. Hey, Steve Stine from GuitarZoom here. Thank you so much for joining me for the Steve Stine Guitar Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about descending bass lines and how you can come up with some really great stuff by utilizing descending bass lines, and of course, what to do with the chord that exists underneath it. Now, along with this discussion, I also want to talk about how motivating it can be to find new guitar tones or effect settings that you might not normally have in your amplifier. Now, you might not know, but I'm a big proponent of plugins. Like, I enjoy plugins, and one of the reasons for my computer amplifier plugins, and one of the reasons why I love them so much is because they are very motivating for me in terms of the tones that I might get that I don't normally get out of my standard amplifier that I would use on stage. So, for instance, today I just purchased by TuneTrack. It's called Easy Mix, Easy Mix. Okay, that's what the software is called, and the pack that I just purchased is the Metal Amp Anthology. So I think this is the first actual guitar plugin pack for Easy Mix 3, which is the newest Easy Mix that is out at this point. So what I like to do with these things is I'll buy them, and they'll have, 20 or 30 different guitar tones in there that I can kind of explore, similar to what I might do on a Kemper or an Axe FX or something like that. And I came up with this tone. Nothing crazy, just a nice clean tone. And it spawned let me show you another one that I've got here. This is another clean sound in here. This one's a little bit more full of effects. Now, I don't want the whole discussion to be about Easy Mix 3 and this pack that I bought. But for me, when I hear things like that, it can really inspire songwriting for me. And so it's not just, this thing was like $39. And so I didn't spend a bunch of money on it. And if I can come up with one or two or three musical ideas that can spawn compositions for me, it is well worth the money. So it's something to think about. And so because of that, I started thinking about this descending bass line thing. Let me go back to my other tone there. There we go. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to use this sound. And we're going to talk about descending bass lines. Now, the thing that always comes to my mind is Led Zeppelin. We hear this. Similar to Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. Okay? Now, if you need to, you can always, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to the audio and you need to, you can always check out the video. If you head over to YouTube and go to the GuitarZoom YouTube page, you'll find the video on this, and you can actually watch me as well if you need to. So basically what's going to happen here is I'm going to take an A minor chord, and I'm just choosing 4 down toward the floor and 4 up, in whatever capacity I want. The picking pattern is really irrelevant. You could do whatever you want. But I'm going to keep that A minor constant, and I'm going to change the bass note by adding my pinky on the 6th string 3rd fret. And again, 4 toward the floor, 4 toward the ceiling in my picking in some capacity. You can keep it completely constant. You can, make variations of it, whatever you want. But once I'm done with that, I want to go to the 2nd fret of the 6th string. Now, in order to go to the 2nd fret of the 6th string, I'm going to have to reposition my fingers so I can play an A minor, yet press on the 6th string 2nd fret. Now, you might be doing that with your thumb over the top, and if you can do that, that's just great. That doesn't work very well for me, so I have to readjust the way I'm fingering that chord So there's just A minor. Add my pinky, I'm fine. But when I get here, I got to flip over, put my middle finger on the 6th string, and then my 3rd and 4th fingers are covering the rest of the A minor now. So it's just an A minor with F sharp in the bass. So I got A minor with G in the bass, A minor with F sharp in the bass. Okay? Now, if we were writing that, it would be written A minor, and then A minor / G, and then A minor / F sharp. That's how it would be written. Now, think about how many things you could do that would be really cool with that. You could go back and forth between those in some way. Maybe you descend. And you stay there. Or maybe you go right back to A minor. Now, in the Led Zeppelin idea, what I would do after that, I would go to the note F, but I've still got A minor, so I'm just moving my middle finger over to the 1st fret. Again, however it works for you. But let's just listen to that a little bit. A minor, G in the bass, F sharp in the bass, F in the bass. Now maybe what I do is, if that was going to be my pattern, I might change up the way I'm picking it when I get to the end. Maybe slow down a little bit. You see, there's lots of really cool things that you could do with that. Now, if we reference back to Babe, I'm going to Leave You Again, now maybe what I would do is put the note E in the bass. So I'm going from A to G to F sharp to F, E, staying with the A minor the entire time. Now, this is where I want to talk about some differences that can happen relative to what's comfortable to your fingers. Not so much that you have to define every single thing that you're doing on the front end. When you're trying to be creative, what I always tell people is worry about the names of things until the end. Worry about how it sounds and how it feels on the front end when you're writing something. Don't go, well, what is the name of that? And do I know what that is? And if I don't know what that is, I probably shouldn't play it because I don't know what that is yet. You kill your creativity by doing that. Don't do that. Just do whatever feels good to you when you're playing, and then go back and go, well, what was that? Or, I always wind up charting my stuff, and I always record myself, with a video. I'll just make a short little video clip of me playing something so I can always come back to it and watch what I was doing and go, oh, okay, so that's what I was doing. So if I took this A minor we were doing before, I'm going A minor, G in the bass, F sharp in the bass, F, E, always keeping the A minor in the bottom, or as the main chord. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start thinking a little more about how the comfort feels. So if I'm on A minor and I go to G, we're all good. Everything is good. But when I get to the next note, the F sharp, what I often will do is I'll move to that F sharp and I'll make a D chord with my other fingers. Now, because I'm playing a traditional A minor chord and then I'm putting my pinky on the note G on the 6th string, in order to go over to the F sharp, it's easier for me to just move my middle finger up to the 6th string on the F sharp and then move my pinky onto the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and I'll leave that 1st string open just like it was in the A minor. I'm not pressing on it like a D chord. I'm not making that chord major or minor. I'm just leaving that off and leaving it open. So there's still some consistency between the A minor, that note, G in the bass. But here I go to this, what is now going to be a D sus2 with an F sharp in the bass. But again, I'm not concerned with the title. I'm just thinking if I was on A minor, naturally with my fingers, and I use my pinky on G, and I want to go to F sharp, it's just very easy for me to throw my middle finger up on the 6th string, and then make the D with my 3rd and pinky on the 3rd and 2nd strings, and then just leave that one open on the bottom. So I have See, and it changes the sound of it. And then when I go to F, go to an actual F chord, E, go to an actual E. Now, in the key of A minor, you should get an E minor, but I'm playing E major, which gives it that kind of harmonic minor kind of sound. You see, and you could keep adjusting it however you want. Maybe when you went to that F chord, you leave one of the strings open. For instance, that's the second string left open on the F major bar chord. And then E, you could do like an add 9 or something like that. I mean, whatever works for you. I don't want to get all crazy on the names of these things. Like I said, the most important thing is that you try and get creative, because I'm going to show you another one now. Let's take a look at a typical D chord here, or D minor. But if I started with a D sus sound, so I'm not defining it as full major or full minor, I'm just leaving it open. And then what I could do, I could go to the C sharp. You see, so I'm playing D major, but instead of playing D major, I'm playing D sus2 again. So I'm taking my middle finger off the guitar from D major, okay? And then all I'm doing is taking my pinky up to the note C sharp on the 5th string. So I'm playing a D, taking my pinky to the 5th string, 4th fret, C sharp. And then I could go to the C with my middle finger, because it's not doing anything at this point. And then it could actually move over to B. And I could maintain that D sus2 underneath that entire thing. Now, what I want you to think about is that I'm playing D and then C sharp and then C and then B as my bass, my descending bass line. If you wanted it to be a little more whatever, you could play D and then C sharp, then go straight to B. And now it's going to be more what we call diatonic. It fits in the key properly. It's that C that throws it off a little bit in there. Right here. I love the sound of it, but you might not. You might go, just the C sharp and the B really works for me. Or let's skip the C sharp and just play C and B. And then where do we go after that? Well, we could go to A by just taking the middle finger off. Okay. If I wanted to go to the B flat, which I do, I would have to, again, switch my fingers around to get there. So if I played this, just the D sus2 there, go to the C in the bass, and then right here, instead of moving that middle finger over to B, that's where I might flip over, put my first finger on the 5th string of the 2nd fret, put my middle finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret, where my first finger used to be, which now makes B flat very easy to get to. So proactive thinking about what you're going to do next is very important, and understanding that if you do need to alter that chord in some way to make the fingering more comfortable and accessible for you, but it changes the sound of the chord, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't have to feel like that D cannot change all the way through, or you've broken the laws of the rules of guitar. It doesn't work that way. It's just you have to decide if you change something about it. Do you like the sound of it, right? Well, right now I'm staying pretty consistent with that, you see? But I could have gone to an open 3rd string would have been a nice thing I could have added in. Maybe I add the open 3rd right here on the B, right there, and then it's still going on the B flat. So I pressed on the 3rd string for the D and then the C in the bass. But when I went to the B, I just let off that string and used the open 3rd string instead. And that sounded pretty cool. I could do something like that. So now you've got moving from A minor and descending from there, and a host of different ideas that you could do. You've got moving from the D sus2. The beauty of using the sus2 is that I'm not defining it as major or minor. It could be whatever I want. But the other thing is it's allowing that finger to be loose already as I'm doing all of these descensions, which is kind of nice, okay? Now let me show you, the last one I'm going to show you here is going to be C. So I'm going to take a traditional cowboy chord C here. Now right off the bat, I'm going to go to the note B, which is going to be the 2nd fret of the 5th string. But instead of trying to change anything about it, I could literally just take that middle finger and move it up to the B, take my ring finger off, and just do that, okay? Instead of having anybody on the 4th string at all, I'm just leaving it open. And that sounds quite nice. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the pinky again and I'll put it on the 2nd string, 3rd fret to get that kind of sound. Again, it doesn't matter. It's not hurting anything, or it's what do I like most about it. There's my C, just putting B in the bass, B flat, and then, whatever we want to go to afterwards. Maybe we go to F or something like that. You could do that and it'd be great. You see? Or maybe I go from C, add that B, just moving my middle finger up, go to A minor, I could tie these together however I want. So, something for you to think about on a creative level, being able to take the chords that you already know, being able to add some sort of bass descension in there, okay? Descending bass line, and then readjusting the chords underneath as needed to make it A, comfortable for you, and B, musical, and understanding that you don't have to follow any particular laws to this where you can only play, the A minor chord and you can't ever deviate from the A minor. You could move it however you need to. Learning songs is of big help. If you learn things like Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You or whatever it might be, you're going to see those things in action from guitar players that you might enjoy or music that you enjoy listening to. You're going to see people doing these sorts of things. And then finally understanding that sometimes inspiration doesn't just come from your brain. Sometimes it comes from your ears. Sometimes it's hearing something like this new piece of software that I got, and you try out a preset in there. You go, oh my gosh, that's really nice. Because if I just plug it in my amp every single day and I get the exact same tone with the exact same settings all the time, that can be inspiring, no doubt about it. Maybe it's something I listened to in the car or something that inspired me. But I'm just saying, very honestly, sometimes I'm inspired by the tones that I'm getting from some of these other things. I know when I plug into my amplifier exactly what it sounds like and exactly what I'm going to get out of it. But if I plug into a piece of software or something like, again, a Kemper or whatever it might be that you might have access to, software is nice because it sometimes is just very inexpensive. And then all of a sudden you play through one of those sounds and go, wow, that's really neat. It makes you start thinking about something completely different that you wouldn't have had you not experienced that. So just be aware of that, all right? So take care, stay positive, and of course, keep practicing, all right? If you like our podcast and want to hear more, remember to press the subscribe button on the app that you listen to. By doing this, you help us a lot, and you'll be the first to know when we have new episodes ready for you to listen to. Is this podcast fun and useful? Then please give it a thumbs up and write about how much you like it. Is this podcast not what you thought it would be? Please let us know. This helps us to make our podcast better and helps more people who love guitar find it as well. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and tell us what you think.